Since the dawn of galactic civilizations, it was generally agreed life can only emerge in two distinct forms. It can either be ordinary life, that strives to cooperate with other life forms, prospers and grows into the galaxy. The alternative is it can develop as cannibal life, a form that takes advantage over other living things. For the longest time, all life that achieved space travel was of the common type, and sought cooperation first and foremost. Conflict only came much later to ordinary life, when galactic conflicts occurred that could not be resolved in a normal fashion. Cannibal life, on the other hand, could never achieve the necessary cooperation, and inhabits death worlds across the cosmos. Or so we thought. The common classification of death worlds knows four distinct categories, as classified by the Osner-Capisci Convention of 77114. In Category 1, some life forms on the planet evolved to take advantage of other living things, without giving anything back. Parasitic life is the lowest form of cannibal life. It inhibits the growth and development of the affected host, although it rarely ends life outright. Category 1 death worlds can sometimes still be visited safely, even by adventurous tourists, but only if strict precautions are followed. In Category 2, microscopic life took a twisted turn, and ends up infecting anything that touches the soil. These forms are called pathogens, and they dominate death worlds in this category. These worlds are off limits to all but extensively trained specialists, who also have a death wish. Infections are deadly to ordinary life and spread on their own, which is why pathogens are the preferred means of warfare between normal galactic civilizations. In Category 3, some complex life forms evolve to prey upon other complex life. These are worlds of large creatures, evolved to consume normal cooperating life forms whole. Normal life should never approach these worlds. They can only be safely watched from afar, and nothing of value can be obtained from them. Category 4 Death World. A cannibal world in the truest sense was thought to be a hypothetical construct for the first few centuries of the Osner-Capisci Conference, although several have since been identified. On these worlds, nightmares come true, for they are the culmination of all others. Parasites and pathogens both abound in soil and water and in air. Cannibal life consumes everything, even other cannibal life down on those worlds. They are places of teeth, of claws, and of venoms most foul. Nothing is safe on the surface of a cannibal world. The Yonza tried to study one, only to lose an entire army group just trying to secure a landing site. Galactic Law of 81990 was passed to prohibit all approaches to these cannibal worlds, to prevent introduction of cooperation. Fortunately, cannibal life is not able to work together with other cannibal life. Its twisted evolutionary path prevents the development of civilizations, and thus space travel. Cannibal worlds are terrors of the universe, but the horrors are safely locked in their gravity wells, and thus cannot terrorize the cosmos. Except for one. Cannibal World 417, a Category 4 death world, is home to terror of galactic proportions. Life there started out as cannibal life, taking without giving anything back, consuming itself for eons on end, yet it twisted and changed somehow. Cannibal life forms began to work together, as well or better as any normal life form. The dominant species of the world, humans, they call themselves, achieved space travel and unleashed themselves upon the cosmos. The first time we encountered humans, it was when one of their scout craft crashed and killed the crew. It was fortunate for us to get some insight that way, because obtaining a human for study has since proven impossible. They are cannibal creatures of a cannibal world and built accordingly. Their outermost layer is a thick membrane that protects the body from injury. It functions like an outer membrane of normal life does, to maintain water balance and coordinate gas exchange, except is many times thicker, and acts as a form of outer biological armor. It took industrial saws just to be able to penetrate this outer layer. Humans also have a form of inner armor made of biological rock that covers their vital organs and aids locomotion. The combination makes humans incredibly resistant to injury. Humans are small, 5 times smaller than Ozizians, the most common normal life form, but can shrug off blows that would kill an adult Ozizian outright with only minor bruising. Regular blunt infantry weapons are thus completely ineffective against a human, even if it doesn't fight back. Armor-piercing weapons can penetrate the outer biological armor, but not the inner biological rock armor, and they do not deal sufficient injury by themselves. Humans have a circulatory system that is self-sealing and self-repairing. Even a horrific injury in a major vessel, assuming it can be achieved at all, will not cause them to lose more than a few drops of circulatory fluids. The wound will seal and heal without intervention, leaving the human unharmed. Pathogens, the most common means of waging conflict amongst races, have proven ineffective against humans. They have several organs dedicated to fighting off pathogens of all kinds, and even the most virulent plagues Marinaxi could scavenge from their death worlds can, at most, somewhat inconvenience a human host. The Bruleki Plague wiped out 7 civilizations with a single application. That single application was tried and tried and tried in combat against humans over 100 times. The dose of a plague that kills civilizations, times 100, and costing countless lives and assaults, caused 3 humans to become combat ineffective for a week. The rest were unaffected. Worse, we have since learned their bodies naturally recognize pathogens and adapt to them. Repeated exposure is thus useless. If the pathogen is not effective the first time, it will be even less effective a second time. Humans even willingly inject themselves with plagues to gain this resistance ahead of exposure, which makes them nearly impossible to fight against. Humans are not unkillable, however. In the conflict waged against humans, they have shown to be somewhat vulnerable to heavy-duty projectile weapons, such as those found on armored fighting vehicles. You should be warned, however. Human leaders often carry weapons of similar power and penetration on their hip, and consider them to be mere status symbols, because they are too weak enough to face a properly equipped human. Humans fought countless conflicts amongst themselves and evolved accordingly. Their soldiers thus carry far larger and more powerful projectile weapons, alongside a myriad of other devices of destruction, and supplement their already formidable defenses with additional armor that can withstand even the strongest of their own projectile superweapons. Projectile weapons are thus only dangerous to humans who do not carry what they consider proper weapons and armor. In reality, what normal armies consider appropriate for a battleship. Chemical warfare was also attempted, but was found even less effective than pathogens. A human head is filled with biological sensors, including chemoreceptors. As inhabitants of a cannibal world, it was always imperative to them to know when pathogens or parasites were present in their nutrients, so they evolved a way to chemically detect volatile compounds. Their noses and mouths can thus detect anything our finest field kits can detect, and warn humans accordingly. It would appear humans themselves have long since been aware of the potential of toxic chemicals, and were fully prepared for the eventuality the first time we attempted to poison them with hydrogen sulfide, a gas so toxic its use had to be approved by the Galactic Council. Another threat when facing a human is their ability to perceive minute changes in air pressure, such as those caused by movement or even breathing. Just because a human is facing away from you does not mean you'll be able to approach one unnoticed. Your movement will cause minute ripples in the air, minute changes in pressure. A human has 2 organs on the side of the head that will pick these minuscule pressure differentials, and know where it is coming from the moment you cause them. Even in complete darkness you are not safe. A human will detect you. It will detect your breathing. It will detect your movement and act fast, very fast. Humans can even manipulate minute changes in air pressure with their breathing apparatus, allowing them to send complex messages to one another without sight, touch, or advanced means. Several humans in proximity will thus be able to coordinate a strategy or tactic among themselves in mere seconds, even unaided by technology. Worse still, their ocular apparatus is unlike that of any normal life form. Their eyes not only resolve an image of their surroundings, but are also receptive to differences in wavelength of light. This allows humans to pick up on composition of their target without carrying a bulky spectrometer. They have two forward-facing eyes with overlapping fields of view, which was initially thought to be just in case one was injured by another cannibal life form. It has since been discovered the human nervous system uses parallax between the two eyes, forming a biological rangefinder comparable in accuracy to those carried on our vehicles. A human, unaided by technology, thus already possesses a biological sensor suite capable to that found on an advanced reconnaissance probe. Yet humans cooperate, as well or better as any normal life does, and they enhance these already formidable sensors with advanced means. Invisibility technologies such as concealment and camouflage can be sometimes used to deceive them, although humans possess innate knowledge of these, and they should be considered ineffective unless tailored specifically to face humans. Even then, our finest stealth techniques are barely comparable to what human children do as forms of entertainment. Humans are veritable killing machines that seem to revel in death and destruction, yet they can just as easily work with one another. A casual observer might think there are only a few humans ever to worry about, but when they invade a world, they do it by the millions, or worse. Few weapons will touch them, and you can be sure, if you can see them, it was only because they wanted you to see. Cannibal creatures of a cannibal world evolving to work together like normal life has always been the stuff of nightmares. The nightmare came true when we discovered Death World 417 and tried to destroy it as a precaution.